I'm doing quiz number 3. Not 1, not 2, but quiz 3. And this looks like it deals specifically with what's called geometric series. And it says a new shopping mall is gaining popularity. Every day since it opened, a number of shoppers is 20% more than the number of shoppers the day before. The total number of shoppers over the first 4 days is this amount. How many shoppers were at the mall on the first day? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You're going to write down the formula for the summation of a geometric series, which is the very first term times 1 minus the common ratio to the power of n all over 1 minus r. Now, I don't know what the first term is, so that's what we're trying to find. So put the first term is question mark. But I do know what the r value is, the common ratio, because it says 20% more than, which means if I had 100% and I add 20%, that gives me 120%, and that decimal is 1.2. If you ever want to convert a percentage to a decimal, literally all you got to do is just divide it by 100. And that gives you the 1.2. So my common ratio is 1.2. And it says after first 4 days. So that's going to be my n value. My n value is after 4 days. And then the sum is 671. So here we go. 671 equals my very first term, which I'm going to solve for, times, put a little fraction here. I'm going to put up here 1 minus 1.2 to the power of 4 all over 1 minus 1.2. So this is where calculators are very helpful. I can't do that in my head. So I got to go to my calculator. Go to my calculator. Come on, you emulator. All right, alpha y equals enter. I'm going to do 1 minus 1.2 raised to the power of 4 all over 1.2. Oh, no. My bad. 1 minus 1.2. It's always helpful to use the formula correctly. And I get this. So if I have 671 and I divide it by this guy right there, I get 125. So if I divide both sides by that 5.368, I believe that's what it was, this right here becomes 5.368. And I divide that, what did we get? 125, which happens to be my first term. So I'll type it in. 125, just like that. Yay! Next question. All right, oh, this one is easy because I have multiple choice. All I got to do is just set it up. So Marco went on a hiking trip. The first day he walked 24 kilometers. Each day since then he walked a third of what he walked the day before. So this time they actually give you the first term. So remember, the formula is this. The first term times 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. So when it says he walked a third of the way, that means the r value is 1/3. So the first term is 24. Then I got to take that 24 and multiply it by 1 minus 1/3. I'll put that in parentheses to the power of n all over 1 minus 1/3. And I'll even put that in parentheses. And that's what I'm trying to match up. Let's see here. That looks good. That looks good. I'll choose A. Yep. Okay. So here we go. Harmony earns $42,000 her first year. Each year she gets a 4% raise. Oh, that'd be so nice. 4% raise. That's awesome. Lucky her. All right. Which expression gives the total amount of Harmony has earned in her first N years? So we don't know what N is, just N years. So what do we start with? That's the first term, right? That's the first term. So I'm going to put $42,000. All right. And then I'm going to multiply it. I'm just going to put right here. 1 minus my R value. Now, here's the thing. The R value is not 4%. The R value is actually 1.04. Like, how the heck is that the R value? Well, if you have if you earn 100% of your salary and you get a what, 4% raise, what are you adding? You're adding 4%. So you actually, the next year, earn 104%, which you earned the previous year. Well, what decimal is that? 1.04. So I want to put 1.04 to the power of n. Here I got to do 1 minus 1.04. But what is 1 minus 1.04? If you're wondering what formula I'm using, here's the formula I'm using. Ready? This is the formula everybody needs to know. 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. So I just said our r value was 1.04. So 1 minus that becomes what? Negative 0.04. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a numerator that has this, but a denominator that has that. All right. I think that looks good here. That looks good here. There's my A1. I'm going to choose this guy. Woohoo! All right. A monkey is swinging from a tree. On the first swing, she passes through an arc whose length is 24 meters. Well, that's our first one. That's our first term. With each swing, she travels along an arc that is, keyword, half. So what does that mean? Our r value is what? 1 over 2, which also is a decimal equivalent of 0.5. All right. So here we go. S of n equals our first term times 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. I wish they would give me more difficult problems so that would be helpful to you guys, but all I can do is the problems that they give me. So our first term is 24. I'm going to do 1 minus 0.5 because that's our r value raised to the power of n. And I'm going to do 1 minus 0.5. Now, if I do 1 minus 0.5, that actually equals just a half. So that equals 0.5. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for this in the numerator and this in the denominator. So I am seeing this right here, and I'm seeing this right here. So I'm going to choose D. All right, last one. A new shopping mall is gaining popularity every day since it opened. The number of shoppers is 5% more than. So if it's 5% more than, if you have 100% and you add 5%, you know your R value is going to be 1.05 because 105% as a decimal is 1.05. The total number of shoppers over the first 10 days, all right, so that's our n value, is this right here, so that's our S of n value. So I'm going to put S of n equals our first term times 1 minus r to the power of n, that's supposed to be n, sorry, all over 1 minus r. All right, so that 1258 is going to go right there. 1258. It says we're looking for the first day, so I'm keeping that A1 value. That's our first day. Times 1 minus our R value, which is 1.05. Our N value is 10, so I'm going to raise that to the power of 10, all over 1 minus the R value, which is 1.05. So what do I definitely do in the calculator? I do not do this in my head. I'm not that smart. I'm doing this part in the calculator. So I'm going to go alpha y equals enter. Do 1 minus 1.05 to the power of 10 over 1 minus 1.05. Press enter. Whew, I get that. So once I get that, what am I doing? Doing 1258. 1258 divided by this guy. And it rounds it to basically 100. All right. So when I divide both sides by whatever that is, I get 100 shoppers. It says rounded to the nearest integer. So I'm going to start with 100. All right. And that's it. That's how you get 100. All right. So Hopefully that was useful, and that process you saw was the same process over and over and over again.